Listen to the two different ways that I say this sentence. I went to the store to buy some groceries versus I went to the store to buy some groceries. Which one sounds more natural to you? Let's talk about it today on the accent journey. Hello, and welcome back to the Accent Journey, the podcast for non-native speakers of American English who want to sound clearer, more confident, and more natural when they speak. I'm Steve Nelson, an American English accent coach with AccentFirst.com. Over the last few instructional episodes, we've talked about linking sounds together. Today, we're going to zoom out a little bit, because natural speech isn't just about connecting sounds, it's also about connecting ideas. And one of the biggest differences between native and non-native speech is something called thought groups. Thought groups are one of the secrets behind natural rhythm, better fluency, and easier listening. So what are thought groups? Thought group is a group of words that belong together as they express one idea. Native speakers don't speak one word at a time, or don't speak continuously without taking breaks. Instead, they organize their speech into chunks. Instead of saying, I went to the store to buy some groceries, saying the word with no pause at all, native speakers would more naturally break this long sentence up into at least two pieces and say, I went to the store to buy some groceries. When you hear that there's a short break after store and before to, that kind of made the break a little bit longer than natural. So it would probably sound like this in more natural speech. I went to the store to buy some groceries. Notice the pause and the grouping of the words. The pause is not as long as it would be after a comma or at the end of a sentence, but it's still there. Now, why does this matter? Thought groups structure your information into logical phrases, and so help listeners process your message in a much more natural way. A speech flows idea by idea, and they also help you to slow down your speech and not rush as much. Now, there's often a lot of variation among native speakers as to where to break up a sentence into thought groups, but they often occur, first of all, between clauses in a sentence, such as, we wanted to go, but it started raining. When you hear the pause between go and but, we wanted to go, but it started raining. Or to set off information in a relative clause, such as, my brother, who lives in Chicago, is visiting next week. We can even use it in lists with a short pause between each list item. For example, we bought apples, oranges, and bananas. I enjoy reading, running, and cycling. You can hear that natural speech uses chunks, pauses, and stress to help make our communication clear to others. Thought groups also help us understand which words should get emphasized most. In general, we give the last word with meaning in the thought group the most stress. We call this the focus word. So, for example, if I say, I bought a new car last weekend, I put a break in the thought groups between car and last. And when you hear how I gave car and weekend the most stress, those are the last two words in each thought group. I bought a new car last weekend. So car and weekend are the focus words in each thought group. Remember, not every word is equally important. This creates natural rhythm. Let's do some practice. Repeat after me now. I bought a new car last weekend. We had a great time at the party. Time and party should be the focus words. We had a great time at the party. He found the answer after a few minutes of looking. Answer and looking are the focus words. He found the answer after a few minutes of looking. Listen and repeat after me. First, I'll read them slowly, making the thought groups clear, and then a bit more naturally. I finished the project before the deadline. I finished the project before the deadline. After dinner, we went for a walk. After dinner, we went for a walk. The meeting was canceled because several people were sick. The meeting was canceled because several people were sick. Notice how each chunk contains just one idea, also how the words flow smoothly within the thought group, and we only pause between each thought group. Let's do some more practice. Repeat after me and see if you can hear where the thought groups separate. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes. We decided to stay home because of the weather. The flight was delayed for almost 2 hours. She started learning English when she was a teenager. All right, let's do some dialogue practice. Repeat both roles. Dialogue 1. What did you do yesterday? I went to the store to buy some groceries after work. What did you do yesterday? I went to the store to buy some groceries after work. Dialogue 2. Why were you late? The train was delayed because of the weather. Why were you late? The train was delayed because of the weather. Dialogue 3. How was the meeting? It went very well and everyone participated. How was the meeting? It went very well and everyone participated. Dialogue 4. What are your plans? I'm visiting some friends this weekend. What are your plans? I'm visiting some friends this weekend. Now for this week's practice passage. First, I'll read it slowly and emphasize where the thought groups separate, then I'll read it a bit more naturally. When you read this passage, focus on grouping ideas, pausing naturally, and stressing the important words. Last Friday, our team finished an important project just before the deadline. After work, we went out for dinner and celebrated together. Everyone was tired, but happy with the results. It was a long week, but it ended on a positive note. Last Friday, our team finished an important project just before the deadline. After work, we went out for dinner and celebrated together. Everyone was tired, but happy with the results. It was a long week, but it ended on a positive note. The text for this passage will be in the show notes for this episode or on our website at accentfirst.com/podcast. All right, let's focus on the key takeaways for this episode. First, native speakers organize speech into thought groups. Second, thought groups contain one main idea. Third, natural pauses occur between ideas, not between words. And fourth, thought groups improve rhythm, fluency, and comprehension. For this week, listen to a podcast or interview and notice where the speakers pause. Mark where thought groups appear in short articles or news stories, and read aloud using those thought groups. The goal is not to speak faster, the goal is to speak more naturally. Thanks for continuing the accent journey. This podcast is brought to you by Accent First Speech Communication Services and is hosted by me, Steve Nelson. Drop us a line at info@accentfirst.com. Our music is Hypnosis by Vondra D. And if you enjoy the show, make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast player. Don't forget to rate our podcast, leave a review, and also a comment letting us know what you think of the show. Until next time, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep thinking in chunks, not words.